Today, I would like to talk about daily reflection and investigation of Dharma that I find very beneficial for my spiritual development, especially during the winter retreat. Indeed, it is a very precious opportunity to deepen this practice because we keep noble silence, step back from most activities, and focus inwards. It seemed to me daily reflection and investigation of Dharma go hand in hand. First, I would like to share a few practical benefits from daily reflection that I have learned and how I apply them in my daily life. Reverend Mayton McQuay said, daily reflection is a very useful adjunct to our formal meditation. Its purpose is to help us learn from our life experiences by establishing a special time to more actively reflecting upon them. When we live our life more or less on autopilot, more by reflex than by awareness, following own grooves of habitual tendencies, long ingrained, hence unnoticed, then an unsatisfactoriness, a niggling sense of something not being quite right can linger, and we may spin around them in circle without really coming to grips with it. She further explained that when we are on our precious spiritual journey, we have the opportunity to do better than that and can make helpful changes to replay old patterns. Daily reflection, it seemed to her, helped to implement these changes. Otherwise, how are we to know which tendencies are valuable and which have lost their value and keep us from living harmonious, contented lives? I also find Reverend Mayton McQuay encouraging words inspiring. The true wonder is that we really can change, that we can learn to make constructive choices that help us become who we want to be. We consciously choose by right intention to clean up our own karma. The waves from habitual unhelpful actions and reactions gradually lessen because we no longer stir them up. For example, one of my habitual tendencies is to complain and grumble about almost everything. So before the winter retreat started, I heard that we could be giving a BB talk 3 times a week. My habitual reaction, the same old, was to complain and grumble internally with resistance and frustration. Fortunately, I did spend time on my cushion, reflected fully and carefully about the announcement, and gained more clarity of why I reacted that way. The fact was that when I participated fully with 5 sessions a day, along in addition to my kitchen duty, setting up for posada, chore, doing water offering for Kuan Yin, and other activities, I did not think I had much time left to prepare for my BBC. It was not because I did not want to do it or I was uncooperative. With that clarity in mind, courage and determination, I decided to speak up and request to be excused from giving a BBC while I would be in full retreat. As the result of my request, the decision was changed the following day, so only people who are on partial retreat would give the BBC. What a positive change I made, thanks to my reflection. Next, I would like to share what I have learned about investigation of Dharma, the second of the seven awakening factors, and the amazing benefits of doing it. Due to time constraint, I only mention some key points of this practice. Bhikkhu Santikaro said, we can we can take investigation of Dharma to mean an intellectual analysis, or when we can regard it in a more meditative context as a non-intellectual scrutiny. Depending on how we regard the analysis, the word Dharma here can mean something as precise as a very particular mental state, or can more broadly mean anything of significance in our lives. Whatever it might be, or whatever come up in our during meditation or during the day, the most important thing is to have a specific, concrete situation to investigate. In addition, we should not expect to solve everything all at once. Bhikkhu Santikaro further explains, so when investigating, we can use this simple idea of observing the stuff that arises. Is it wholesome or unwholesome? Is it stuff that keeps us enmeshed in suffering, or does it offer support in getting free of suffering? Does it support letting go of our egoistic tendencies, and so on? When we investigate Dharma, it is primarily the investigation of those Dharma that are still problematic in our lives, such as fear, doubt, anxiety, resentment, pride, or all those things that keep us trapped. Or we investigate healthy Dharmas, the healthy spiritual qualities, the healthy emotions, or healthy mental states in order to strengthen them, to allow them to awaken us. Furthermore, I also learned from the reflection examining uncomfortable experiences that if there is a recurrent sense of disease, discontent, and dissatisfaction, we need to make a strong determination to investigate it, understand it, resolve it, relinquish it, not shrinking back from it, and really try to dig it out. So, how do I put the investigation of Dharma into practice? At the beginning of each day, I learn to consciously develop the intention to learn what every experience can teach me. With this conscious intention, I bring the quality of inquiry and investigation into being and develop the tendency to examine my life. I can ask myself some questions, such as what lesson is being learned from this particular experience? What is it teaching me? Exploring a few past incidents that cause misunderstanding, frustration, and confusion, I realize that I have the tendency to assume things that should happen according to my projection, my expectation, or my wish, instead of checking in the information or detail beforehand. For example, when I let the soak set up, I assumed that a resident who had been sick for a week would not show up for soak, so I did not set the seat for that person. It turned out she showed up at soak later because she felt better, and I had to rearrange many seats at the last minute. What I learned is I either request people to let me know if they're not coming for ritual in advance, and or have my team checked up prior to the setup. So indeed, one of the most direct and immediate benefits from investigation of Dharma is that it helped me gradually develop the quality of honesty when looking at the uncomfortable aspect of my own experience. I have to admit that I have the tendency to run away from my uncomfortable experience in my life, to gloss them over, to dismiss or suppress them, or to put some kind of spin on them. Instead, I need to look at them closely and to look within in the present moment and to see what is leading toward more confusion, anxiety, imbalance, tension, or stress and let it go. For example, during the first few winter retreats, I got annoyed when people stormed up the stair during my meditation sessions. I even came up with the idea that we should install a camera along the stair to capture who walked with intentionally heavy steps. In addition, I also became very angry at the sound of the snow plow truck or the microwave or any sounds because they interrupt me trying to meditate and my peace and quiet. Fortunately, this past winter retreat, I had a great opportunity to learn from the teaching, resolve to let go. I am very happy that the teaching has helped me to stop blaming others and other external conditions for my irritation and anger, but instead to accept that my concentration were fragile and my arrogant and my unconscious influx of believing things have to be my way. Since then, I have made a resolution to make any sound as my object of meditation and to stay in Kuan Yin to practice, even though there is an event going on in the dining room or the library. As a result, my concentration has improved so much. So I hope the conducive condition of the winter retreat give you a sufficient attention, time, and space to reflect and investigate your life experiences as well.